بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to the book of oaths in Fiqh. We'll continue inshallah the discussion, and we've reached a topic which is the remittance of binding oaths. That's where we stopped at last time, and we mentioned that scholars agreed on three conditions. If they existed, then the exemption is effective in oath. These three conditions is that the exemption should be accompanied to the oath. When you take an oath, swearing by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing something or avoiding something, it has to be mentioned with it, the exception. An example for this would be, if you say, by Allah, I will not leave Houston. What do you understand from that? Exactly. If you say, by Allah, I will never leave Houston. Next year, you leave Houston. Did you break your oath or no? Someone would tell you broke your oath. Okay, let's go back. By Allah, I will never leave Houston. You took a pause, and someone told you, forever? And you say yes. Next year, you leave. And the one that asked you, you said forever. You will say, what do you mean? Do you think that I will never leave Houston forever? I meant just only for 1 year. Would that be acceptable? Why? What if from the beginning you said, by Allah, I will never leave Houston for a year? Is this exception valid for a year? So after 1 year, can I leave? Yes. Why? Because I made that condition from the beginning with the oath. Okay, that's what it means, that it has to accompany the oath. They agreed on this one. The next one, it should be expressed. What does that mean? Again, you come after a year and you say, I will leave. And someone will tell you, you said you will never leave. You say, that's not what I meant. Is that valid? It has to be expressed. 3, it should have the intention from the beginning of the oath that if this exception existed, if this exemption existed, then the oath is ineffective. By Allah, I will never leave Houston for a year. Or, by Allah, I will never leave Houston, and someone told you, ever? You say, no, that's not what I meant. I meant for a year. That's the same. Once you have these 3 conditions together, the exception is effective. What if you don't have all of them? You have 1 or 2. There is difference. That does not mean the exemption is ineffective. That means there is difference of opinions. But they all agreed that if these 3 exemptions existed, then they affect the oath. They affect the oath. That's what they agreed on. And again, it's better always to discuss what they agreed, and then we discuss what they disagreed on. Now, the immediate exemption, like it has to be immediately. I will never leave Houston for a year. Is it the same as if you're saying, I will never leave Houston, and the phone rang, and you talk. Then after you finish, someone tells you, you were saying you will never leave Houston, and you say, no, I meant for a year. What's the ruling on that? Was the exception immediate? There was a separation. Would that separation be effective or no? There is difference of opinions. Group of jurists, including Malik, rahimahullah, stipulated that the exemption has to be immediate. He is strict. It has to be immediate. While Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah said, there is no harm in brief silence. By Allah, I will never leave Houston. For a year. According to Malik, that's not good enough. You had to say it from the beginning. Another group of jurists said that it is permissible to stipulate the exemption as long as he has not moved away from the session. Now we're sitting, we're talking, we are in the discussion. I told you I will never leave Houston. Then I mentioned to you that my house is here, my family is here, everything is okay. Then you say, but you know, I may definitely leave it, but for 1 year, I will never leave it. That is valid. Why? You're still in the same course of the discussion. Another opinion, which is the opinion that was narrated from Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhuma, that the exemption is valid, even if you make it 1 year later, or 2 years later. But what do you think of that opinion? Because otherwise, there will never be a break of an oath. You say, I will never leave Houston. By Allah, never. I will leave Houston. Next day you leave. You have a flight ticket, free of charge, and you say, I'm going. Someone will tell you, what happened? Yesterday you took an oath that you will never leave. You say, no, I did not mean that if I did not get a free ticket. Come on. What do you think? According to Ibn Abbas, or that narration from Ibn Abbas, that the exemption is valid. But these are the three famous opinions. Now, in the Quran, it clearly rejects the last opinion that was narrated from Ibn Abbas. In the story of Ayyub alayhi salam, when he took an oath that he will strike his wife 100 times. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell him to do? وَخُذْ بِيَدِكَ ضِغْثًا. Take a group of sticks and hit it with them. وَلَا تَحْنَثْ. And do not break your oath. If exemption was permissible later, after he was cured and after he regretted what he said about his wife, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have told him, make an exception now. Right? But the ayah again states, or the implication of the ayah, that the exemption is not valid. It's too late now. So these are the opinions regarding the first issue. Now the second issue. Expressing the exemption in words. Expressing the exemption in words. Is it a necessary condition in order for the oath to be ineffective? Scholars said the exemption must be in words. Like when you use the word illa. What's the meaning of illa? Except. Excluding. You are excluding. When you say la ilaha, no God, illa, except. Illallah. Or any other word that is similar. What about the intention then? If you intended the exemption. As long as it is made along with the oath, then it is valid. Like what? As I said, by Allah, I will never leave Houston. And someone would ask you, never? You say yes. And he tells you, even after 2 years? And you say no. Not after 2 years. What I meant was for a long period of time. Now, did he make that intention from the beginning or after he was asked? No, not from the beginning. If it was from the beginning, then he would have said that this is my intention. But sometimes you are reminded and that's what you say. So that's not the case. Here it says it has to be from the beginning. Another opinion, which is very, very similar to the first one, as long as the oath is not finished, then the exemption is valid and it affects the oath. Some scholars differentiated. They said if it is about numbers, then the exemption has to be from the beginning. Like what? By Allah, I will pray 5 times. And someone would tell you, you don't have time. So you say, except 2. That is too late. From the beginning, you have to say the exemption. But if it's from a general implication, then it is valid. Like what? By Allah, I will not read books. And you come and read the Quran. Is the Quran book or no? It is a book, but it is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one would come and tell you, come on, you're reading the Quran. What do you say? That's general implication book, but you excluded specific Quran. It is not numbers, so it is valid. See, these are the opinions. Is this clear so far? Next issue we have is stipulating the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you say, by Allah, I will hit you, insha'Allah, is that an exemption or no? Or someone tells his wife, by Allah, she is divorced, insha'Allah, if Allah wills. Is she divorced or no? They come to you, husband and wife, telling you this is what happened. Is that a divorce or no? What do you say? What do you say? It is a divorce? Why? You stipulated the will of Allah. What did Allah will? You don't know, so now you are determining. How you say you don't know, but you determined she is divorced?
Because he said it before.
He said it what? He said it with the inshallah, with the oath. He did not delay it or he did not change. He said she is divorced, inshallah.
They use
inshallah in 2 different ways. Just vaguely inshallah, or inshallah, you can be like, this is what I want to do.
Okay, what if that was the intention? This is what I want to do, but still, inshallah, if Allah wills. If Allah wills, I want to divorce. By Allah, he said, by Allah, she is divorced, inshallah. Means he had the intention, if Allah will, to divorce her. Is she divorced?
Well, Allah would what? You know, take his life. She's still
If this oath is atoned through kafara, all scholars agreed that the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is effective. Like what? By Allah, I will never enter that door, inshallah. Without the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I entered the door, would I be liable? If I said, by Allah, I will enter the door, and I entered, will I be liable for kafara? Yes. So the will of Allah is effective here. But they disagreed, again, as I said, on two issues: divorce and freedom, emancipation. If you say about divorce, Imam Malik rahimahullah said, the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is ineffective. What does that mean? She's divorced. You cancel that as if it did not happen, and she's what? Divorced. According to Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah and Imam Shafi'i, she is not divorced. So there is difference of opinions. Okay? Next we have the examination of kafara. And we will discuss three issues here. The cause of violation of the oath, why the oath would be broken, the conditions and the ahkam of violating the oath. That's the one area that will be covered. Next, the atonement for the violation. What is it? What are the forms of expiation? And thirdly, the time for atonement and the amount that achieves it. So these are the three issues regarding the kafara. Now we say, okay, I know that this broke the oath. What I said is against the oath that I took. What should I do? What is it? And how much? And is this violation or no? So what is the cause of violation? They agreed that the cause of violation is the opposition to the object of the oath. What was the object of the oath? Not to enter that door. Did you enter the door? Yes, you violated the oath. They agreed on that. And this could be positive or negative. How is that? Either you take an oath to avoid something and you do it, or to do something but you did not do it. So it is either negative, by not doing and you do, or by doing and you did not do. By Allah, I will speak 1,000 words, and you spoke 900 words. You violated the objective of the oath. Or by Allah, I will be silent for 10 minutes. After 7 minutes, you spoke. That's a violation of the oath, because the objective is to be silent. and you contradicted that. So this is how the oath is broke. Example, I will go to the restaurant today. You did not go. Or I will not watch TV until 8. And you watch TV. Okay? This is clear? Now, we agreed that violating the objective is what breaks the oath. What about forgetfulness? Is it effective? Like what? You swore that you will go to the restaurant. Then you received a phone call. You were on the phone for hours and hours, and you forgot. By the time you looked at your watch, it is 10 p.m. All restaurants are closed. You forgot. So, did you break the oath or no? Or you wanted to go to the restaurant, your friends heard that and they said, we will force you not to go. They tied you and they said, we will see. We want you to pay the kafara. They forced you. No, definitely. What about the first one? Forgetfulness. What do you think? According to Imam Malik rahimahullah, it doesn't matter. You took the oath, you're responsible. This is a privilege. Nobody told you to take the oath. Whether you forgot or you were forced, it doesn't matter. It is irrelevant. You have to atone. But what do you think? Is that strong opinion?
Very strong.
Very strong. No? Why? The pen is lifted for the one who forgets. Who told you to take that oath?
Very strong.
Very strong. The majority of scholars said that it is not effective. It is. If he was forced or he forgot, there is no kafara. And some scholars actually differentiated. So that's one issue that scholars differed on regarding the forgetfulness and forcing someone. Next issue we have is doing part of the thing. You took an oath, by Allah, I will have breakfast. And you drank tea. Because usually when you have breakfast, your breakfast is a tea and one egg. You took only tea. You did part. You did not do the entire thing. Right? Is the cup of tea breakfast? It is part of your breakfast, but it is not your breakfast. So, are you liable for kafara or no? Or, by Allah, I will eat a sandwich, tuna sandwich. You have the foot long from Subway, tuna sandwich, and you took 2 bites from that sandwich. Did you eat the sandwich? What did you eat? Part of it.
Yeah, he's kafara.
There is kafara?
Yeah.
Why?
He made an oath.
He made an oath to eat a sandwich. Couldn't a sandwich be 2 bites or smaller? They have small sandwiches, right? For the baby, that is the...
He should have bought a small one.
Or should, he didn't intend to eat, he didn't intend only 2 bites. If
He didn't intend 2 bites. But he did not have specific size of the sandwich. He said, I will eat a sandwich. And then he was told, look, you took an oath to eat a sandwich. And he says, okay. He ate 2 bites. And he said, that will be enough. Would he be still liable for the kafara? Or, this is the positive, doing part of the thing. On the other side, if you swear, by Allah, I will not drink. I will not drink any liquid. And you drank water. But they tell you, look, you broke your oath. And you say, no, I meant juice. Did he break the oath or no? Why? Water is liquid. Doesn't it become, doesn't it evaporate? Gas. And condensed, becoming water. Okay, what about if he said, by Allah, I will not drink fruit juice. Fruit juice. Then he drank apple juice. But it is not cocktail. Doing part of the thing. Or a similar one, by Allah, I will not eat a loaf of bread. He came and he took some bites. Or the same example of the sandwich. By Allah, I will not eat a sandwich. A tuna sandwich. But he ate 2 bites of the tuna sandwich. Is he liable for kafara or no? Online. Answer.
It's like saying, by Allah, I will make Hajj. You go and you do half of the route. It's not a Hajj. Right? So he has not fulfilled his oath.
No, here you cannot say you did Hajj. Unless you did Hajj. Because Hajj will not count. This is agreed, but in our cases, by Allah, I will not read this book. Okay, you have a book and you say, by Allah, I will not read this book. And you open it and you read 3-4 pages. Did you read the book? You read few pages. What do you say? According to Malik rahimahullah, both cases you are liable for kafara. In both cases. Again, Imam Malik rahimahullah strict in the case of oaths. According to Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah and Abu Hanifa, in both cases you are not liable for the kafara. Unless you do the exact thing. So for the book, unless you read the entire book, you're not liable. Now, if someone asked you, did you read the book? And you read few pages, wouldn't you be able to say, yes, I read it? Or you have to read every word until you say, yes, I read it? What do you think?
When you say that you read the book, it implies the whole thing.
It implies the whole thing, yeah. So these are the opinions regarding doing part of the thing. Then we have generality and specification. The entire thing and part of the thing. Then we have general thing and specific thing. If a person swears to perform a specific act, But the implied intention is understood as a wider thing. Like what?
I will read this book.
Mm-hmm.
It's implied you would read the whole thing,
Yeah.
but he only reads the first chapter.
Yes. If you say, by Allah, I will not watch TV. And you open on a channel. That channel is specific thing. Or, no, that's difficult to judge because you have video, you have the same example, breakfast and parts of it. By Allah, I will not have breakfast. And you had 3-4 bites. Or you had a drink, coffee. You drank coffee. Will you be liable to kafara or no?
And yes.
Okay. Let's practice. Someone said, I swear by the mercy of Allah. Is that a valid oath or no? Yes? So, what did I say? Yes, it is a valid oath. Someone said, I swear by the Kaaba of Allah. The Kaaba of Allah. Aliyah, no? Abdullah, no?
Some say it's something.
It is revered, yes. So, can you swear by the Kaaba of Allah?
According to those who say nothing but by Allah.
What do you say? You. I'm not asking you to give me the difference of opinions. Why? Oh, online, Olivia says yes. Shaza says yes. Now they differ. If you say yes, why? And if you say no, why? Isn't the Kaaba of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revered?
Yes,
But what?
Prophet
Prophet ﷺ did what?
said, do not swear by your fathers.
Do not swear by your fathers. Aren't fathers revered in the Sharia? Aren't you revered in the Sharia?
He continued and said,
Aren't you? وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. We have indeed honored the children of Adam.
he continued and said, if you were to swear by something, swear by Allah.
If you to swear by something, swear by Allah. But this is the Kaaba of Allah. It's just like the mercy of Allah. No, you cannot. It is different. You don't swear by Mecca, by Medina, by Kaaba. You swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or His names and attributes only. The Prophet ﷺ said, Man halafa bighayri Allahi faqad ashrak. He committed shirk. He committed shirk. Someone said, I swear by the Quran. Okay.
Yeah,
Quran.
this is the speech of Allah.
The Quran. Is it valid oath or no? Yes, you can. Quran is not like the Kaaba. Because the Quran is speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Someone said, by Allah, I saw my friend at Walmart. By Allah, I saw her at Walmart. She's asked, or he's asked, were you at Walmart? He said, no, I was not there. What do you tell that one? He says, but she was wearing niqab, all of them. What do you say? What do you tell that person who swore by Allah that he saw this individual and it was not there? Didn't he violate the oath? So there is what? There is kafara. Olivia says no kafara. You were really sure? Yes. How many women with niqab you may see in Walmart? Shaza says also there is no kafara. What do you say? There is? Or no? She's sitting next to you and she says yes, you say no? Come on, work it out. So we have agreement amongst Olivia and Shaza. That's very strong opinion. What do you say? There is kafara? Why not?
Because you might have got information and might have seen outside the wall.
What? He says, by Allah, I saw her in Walmart. She says, I was not even close to Walmart. I was 40 miles away.
He's saying this out of, Shafi says, he says this out of just talk, and there's no kafara. If you think it's the opposite, if it becomes the opposite of what, but he's not even there to even, for it to even become the opposite. Like someone calls, by Allah, this is Dawood, but it's not. He's not helping like kafara.
Why? Someone calls and says, yes,
Yeah, Abu Hanifa says that.
and he tells you who I am. And you say, come on, you are Dawood. And he says, no. And you say, by Allah, you are Dawood. Then he tells you, he shows you his real voice and he's not Dawood.
Right, you were expecting it to be Dawood, but it turned out to be opposite.
You said, by Allah, you are Dawood. And he was not Dawood. He was Isa. He was Isa. What's the ruling? Come on, we need ruling because it could happen. رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَخِذْنَا إِن نَسِينَا وَأَخْطَأْنَا. What this has to do with this? Nobody told you to mention the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to say by Allah. You could have said, I am sure, or I think you are. Why you say by Allah? So what do you think? Is he or she liable for the kafara or no? Now you change your opinion? She convinced you?
No.
What?
Because it's more talking than swearing. But
Come on, you say by Allah. What do you mean by more talking? He or she was mistaken, that's true. Then when you are liable for the kafara? If that is not kafara. According to some scholars, you are liable for the kafara. According to Shafi'i, because when you just say it, by Allah, I think you are Dawood. That is different. Or, by Allah, we went there, by Allah, we did that. You are talking and you mention it several times just as means of talking, not as means of confirmation. According to other scholars, you're not liable for the kafara because you swore on something that you're certain of, then it appeared to be the opposite. Okay? Any questions? Okay, last one. Someone said, I testify on this. I bear testimony that you are Dawood.
This is not
You're not using the name of Allah. He didn't testify by anything. Someone came and said, my friend took from me $2,000. And you say, yes, I bear testimony that he did. What is this? Is this an oath or no? Is this an oath or no? Yes or no?
According to those who say you only can use the laws, no.
Well, the four Imams say you cannot use other than the word of Allah, the name of Allah and His attributes. But they differed here. Yes, very good, Alia. In Surah Al-Munafiqun, remember the evidence. When the hypocrites come and they say, we testify, we bear witness that you are the messenger of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they took their oaths a means of protection. They did not say by Allah, but scholars say it is implied. When you say, I bear witness, I testify, you imply Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You testify by Allah.